Welcome everyone to round one of eSGT's latest season. I'm Tatiana, your commentator and host, I suppose. I guess we can call myself a commentator and host. I'm very excited about this new season. Got some big changes that came in the rules and regulations rather, and structure of the championship altogether. Actually, it looks like though we're about to really get started with this race. Hopefully that happens very soon here. We just finished up the last stuck check. Got a one complaint of lagging from someone, so hopefully that doesn't affect too many people's races here. Looks like everyone's starting to make their way onto the track though, so the race can get going. Qualifier has been set. Qualifying settings are 10 minutes of qualifying. Hey Avalarian, good luck in the race today. We have a 10-minute qualifier. Fuel and tire wear are off for the qualifying session. After qualifying, obviously the grid order is set to fastest first. If I recall correctly, the grid will be set manually though, according to the qualifying finish. That way people can exit out and choose tires. There is a tire requirement for this race. We'll talk more about that during the race, I suppose. But right now it looks like our host, MOP, is getting started, is starting to set things up for the qualifier. And once they do, I'll throw that up on the screen so we can all watch. How's everyone doing, by the way? All right, everyone's going to be entering the track soon. Qualifying is going to get underway. Now, I do wonder, I usually don't do qualifying races, but I feel like when the room is set to practice qualifier race, doesn't it go straight to the race after quali? How are we going to set up the exit for people to choose tires unless they just back out of the race and start a fresh one? You know what? We'll see how it works out. We'll see how it works out. It should work out well. Hey, Shadow. Here we go. Good luck, Shadow, Avalarian. Turn me off. Focus on the race. Turn me off. I'm going to be screaming and saying random things. I'll mess you up. Guaranteed to mess you up. That's everybody on track, on the way for the qualifier. Let's make sure that you all can see it here. We've got quite a colorful set of liveries, and you know I love that. This Mazda is giving me life right now by Raccoon. I love this. Give me a better angle, PD. I need to see more of that. Namco. That is so cool. It's got a little California license plate and everything. Is that like a... Is that a reference to another racing game? Am I tripping? It looks familiar. Tell me if you know. Tell me if you know. Are we still on the welcome screen? We should have transitioned by now to where you can see the race. Huh. It still says started. Oh no, I'm not live. Yeah, you can see everything now. Okay, I think you wrote that a while ago. Focus on qualifying, MOP. Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional, okay? I'm a professional. Anyway, the first of the drivers are getting done with their outlap. Gonna start their first, what's the word I'm looking for? Man, I'm rusty. Their first flying lap. Paco in the Jaguar here. Pretty cool livery though, I think. Is that an ocelot? Does that say ocelot on the side? I mean, an ocelot on a Jag, I guess. It works out. Works out. Jasmine in the JBL Lexus. That JBL livery being for one team's pretty standard livery here. It looks good. Always looks great. Raccoon, we've already taken a look at that. Mazda. Oh, and Raccoon takes a lot of curb and eats it in turn 4. They're going to want to start that over. Well, not start over. I guess they got out of track. They shouldn't have. They should have finished this lap. But it doesn't matter. Little Mac, Team RWB in, what's that, a Corvette? Yep, red, white, and blue Corvette. Red, white, and silver. But you get the gist. You get the gist. It's old school. Back in the day, white was represented by just leaving the car raw and silver. So, here we are. Avalarian. We are all familiar. Avalarian in that ERS liveried Viper. I used to drive the Viper a lot in this game when I first started playing, and I loved it. Saltitao, I don't know if I'm saying that, but a UFT driver. Pretty familiar with UFT from Division 1. That's Saltitao in a GTR. Who's that in the wall? Was that MOP? No, that was Jasmine in the wall. So that lap, thrown away. There's plenty of time, though. We were only 3.5 minutes into qualifying. MOP racing in that Beetle, racer rather, in the MOP liveried Beetle. Paco set the first qualifying time with a 39.4. Little Mac beat that by a lot with a 37. And then Avalarian, also with a 37. Racer up at the top with a 36.4. That's the time to beat right now. Latazino just came through in that Aston Martin, at a bumblebee colored Aston Martin, up into second place with a, what do you have, a 36.7? JP sitting in 6th place with their time. That's a Corvette we haven't seen. 0 anniversary livery. Okay, not familiar, but it looks good. Everyone's car looks so good. There are livery requirements for this championship. People take it pretty seriously, so I like that people take the time to make a nice livery for their car to represent their team or themselves all season long. P. Rebello in the 650S. I love it when somebody drives a McLaren in the championship. I think this car doesn't get enough love, and in the right hands, and sometimes when the BOP is right, it's a contender. It's a contender. Either way, it's always pretty good to drive. It's a good driving car. Whose car haven't we seen? I think we've seen everyone. Ignitus might be the last one. Ignitus in that Supra red, gray, and black livery. Red, gray, white, and black livery. It's looking good. Love the symmetry of it all. We should be starting to get some new lap times coming in soon here. People are ending their laps. Paco with a 36.6 brings themselves up to 2nd place. Racer still holding on to first there. Little Mac moves up to 5th place with a 37 flat. Hey Sean, how you doing? Zinho gets themselves back up to 3rd after being knocked down by Ignitus and JP for a second. Okay, Suisse up in the 6th with a 36.9. We're looking for top 10 times here. How many races we have on track? We have 13 people on track. You definitely want to be in the top 10. Races around Dragon Trail get intense. And believe me, speed isn't everything, because that chicane of death can change anything in a heartbeat. It could be the last lap. The chicane doesn't care about your feelings. The chicane moves. Oh no! Okay. And that beautiful R8. Just having a little off there. They'll get back together. I like that. I don't think we've looked at this livery. Black and red is a good look for that. We excited about this season, y'all? I feel like it was forever between this season and the last one. Though, of course, grateful for the break. Grateful for the break. It's nice to not have to be stuck inside on a Sunday afternoon. It's beautiful here in Georgia, by the way. wherever you are. I hope it's beautiful too, and hope you do get outside after this. So far, little more than halfway through quali here. Racer is still holding on to that top time. They haven't increased, or they haven't improved on their time, and they probably won't here, as I see they had a little damage. There is light damage in qualifying, and in this game what light damage means is that you will damage your parts depending on what you hit, of course. It could be suspension, it could be engine, but that damage will go away after a certain amount of time. I don't know actually what the timer is in Gran Turismo Sport, but I think it's probably less than 30 seconds. It's been a while since I've raced around with damage, but we'll get a feel for it as we watch more of these racers around the track here. People are still setting new times, still increasing their times, but the top 5 have stayed pretty steady. Got Racer, followed by Paco, then Zinho, Ignitus, and JP in the top 5 here. Avalere and Suisse, Saltitao round out the top 8, maybe trying to see if they can improve and get into that top 5. We got a few people that I don't think have been able to set a good lap yet, so hopefully they're able to make that happen. Raccoon being one. We saw Raccoon go down on the outlap. Purple first sector for them though, so maybe this will be one for them. Let's take a look at their view as they go up through the S's. A little neat through the S's there. Those S's are way more difficult than you think. Need a lot of downforce to make them easy. If you don't have a lot of downforce, you do have to finesse them. You want to keep your momentum going through them, but not go too wide through them because the curves will kill you, especially in this car. Purple second sector for Raccoon here. So this is looking like a good lap. Ooh, sliding into the chicane. That's going to mess them up a little bit. Not so smooth, and they weren't fastest in those sectors by a lot. So let's see if that affected them. They're coming up in the last turn here. Tricky last turn. You want to brake hard and apex it as late as you dare. Not the perfect apex there, but not a bad one either, believe me. As one of the most inconsistent people in this corner, I can say that was a pretty decent one. And that does not set a new time. Or sorry, it does set a new time for Raccoon. Where did you go? Did Raccoon just get off track after setting that? Or disappear? We lost Raccoon in the middle of that. I think, let's take a look. Let's see, is Raccoon still in the lobby? Raccoon is still in the lobby, so I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe I lost Raccoon. How about that? But they should be in 13th here, and they're not on track, so I guess they got off track for some reason. Paco banging into the wall at the end of the chicane of death. Big damage. Front, you see that front section there on the bottom left is flashing red. That means front arrow is damaged, so less downforce. And both front wheels are damaged, so suspension damage on both sides there. So that is what you'd be dealing with if you slam into a wall at a high speed. In any case, we're at the end of qualifying now. And our order is Ignitus in first, though they say they made an oopsie, and I'm not sure what happened there. Racer, Paco, Zinho, Jasmine in 5th place. Jasmine just set that time to get up into 5th place, by the way, to break into the top 5. JP got knocked down to 6th because of it. Avalarian in 7th. Suisse in 8th. I can't say that. Saltitao. I can't read it loud, fast. Saltitao in 9th. Little Mac in 10th. Raccoon jumped up to 11th place with that last lap. And Shadow RLM in 12th. That's qualifying. Not sure what happened with Ignitus, so we're going to take a look. Raccoon says the lobby glitched, which might explain them suddenly disappearing for me. Let's take a look and see what happened. Someone is out of their depth. It's only round 1. It's only round 1. Now you've got a gauge of the competition and maybe need to spend a little more time in qualifying practice. I don't know. You tell me what happened, Shadow, while we're waiting to see what's going on with this race. You tell me what happened and why you qualified 12th place, do you think? Was it lack of practice? Because that would be my reason. No time. No time. Raccoon says their final lap never counted. Well, that's certainly not good. And that's something that, unfortunately, it looks like will have to be reconciled after the race, because it looks like we're up to start here. What I do wonder is if Racer will have everyone exit back out of the race. I don't see them on the track, so that's probably their plan, to have everyone exit so they can choose tires and restart. The Viper feels slower now. I haven't driven it in a while. Was there a BOP change or a physics change? I haven't checked update notes in this game for many updates. I'll be honest, I've done a bad job of staying on top of it. It looks like that is exactly what's happening here as far as the tire change. Looks like everyone's jumping in to quote unquote start the race, jumping out. Racer's gonna set the qualifying order manually, and then we'll start the actual race. So we'll wait while they do that. And once everyone gets on track, we'll get going. Does anyone drive the Lancer? Ignitis claims a time of 36:352 for their last lap, which doesn't seem crazy to me, if only because, well, we saw them go purple over several sectors of the race. They did have a mess up towards the last sector, but it wasn't the biggest slide. It wasn't the hugest mess up. It could have very well even been just lag on our side, because it was very minimal and they were going purple. So I really don't doubt that they got such a good time there. But we'll see what Racer decides to do with that, or if that's something that Ignitis is going to have to take up with stewarding after the race. you're just joining, we are still waiting for our host to set the qualifying order for the start of the race here. Shouldn't be too much longer. It's a little bit of a clunky process though, so I understand why it might be taking a little bit of time, but we'll get there. We will get there. Okay, looks like we are underway. Everyone is lined up, flashing our lights to say hello. Guys, this is race 1 of season 5 of eSGT, the GT3 series specifically. Division 2 lobby. Where we at? Dragon Trail Seaside, the classic. Everybody loves this track. It is one of the PD originals that was included with the game at launch, and most of us know it like the back of our hands. Very fun track. A guaranteed way to fill your lobby up if you're starting a lobby. And they're away now, headed into turn 1. Turn 1 being a kink, or if you don't count the kink, turn 1 is this awful chicane. Looks like we're 3 wide in some places. Racer having to dip all the way into the corner off the curb. JP comes out ahead there in first place, jumping from first after qualifying in 6th place. Zinho in 2nd out of that. Jasmine in 3rd. Racer in 4th. Avalarian in 5th. The top 5 is completely reshuffled after that first chicane. Ignitus up in 6th place. Wow. A nice start for Ignitus. I didn't think to check where they ended up after Racer reset the lobby, but it doesn't matter. They're in 6th place now. It's looking good, and it looks like everyone was away pretty cleanly. I don't see any stragglers. We got a whole train going here. Everyone's just past the S's and now deep into the hairpin. JP not bothering to go defensive here, just getting in there. And you know what I've noticed? I don't see what tires everyone's on. We got display on setup, so we should see tires unless Racer forgot to set tire wear in this race, in which case interesting. There is a tire requirement in the race. No, tire wear is on. I feel like we should be able to see what tires people are on as they race, but maybe I'm tripping. But there's a little bit of wear. In any case, we're crossing the line for the first time. There's a big gap between JP and Zinho. Those 2 big naturally aspirated motors just really running away here at Dragon Trail. Those kind of cars do well here, but here's MOP and the little Beetle. Here's Racer still doing the thing in 3rd place, back up to 3rd after that interesting start there. Avalarian just behind, but really not even chasing, really just trying to get away from Ignitus and Jasmine at this point. Or maybe they're going to settle in and just kind of work together. That train, that mid-pack train, is very long and deep, full of cars, side by side. For a couple of people here headed into the S's, Jasmine and Ignitus. Ignitus having to, Saltatao rather, having to tuck back in behind Jasmine to go into the S's. Paco having a hard time through there, start from 1st down to 8th place. Saw them go a little bit wide in the S's there. It's really hard to follow cars and keep your full speed through those S's. The dirty air will throw you out wide, and those curbs on the outside are unforgiving. The curbs anywhere in the S's are unforgiving, actually. Depending on the car, hitting them is a guaranteed spin. Oh, Raccoon into the chicane of death. I think that's our first chicane of death victim. Let's go find it. Raccoon, where are you? Did we already lose Raccoon? Oh, it's so confusing. Why have we lost you? There we are. We missed it. We missed it. We probably won't be able to watch it again. Apologies. Raccoon in last place now. JP in last place. What happened to JP? I missed that too. Oh my gosh, it must have happened around the same time. Raccoon gets around JP. Zinio all alone up top with a 2.3 second gap, and it's growing. Racer, meanwhile, also all alone. Oh my gosh. Things went down in the chicane. The whole top order is different now. Racer and Zinio were still top 3, but Avalarian now in 3rd, and the gap between the top 3 to the mid-pack is huge. Paco up in 4th. And Raccoon and JP just trying to catch back up. Luckily, it doesn't look like they're too far off. Raccoon is only 2.5 off of Pueblo in 10th, and that train from 10th up is pretty dense. So if they can get back up into there and start picking drivers off one by one, maybe make a move in the pits, they should be okay. Oh my gosh, people going nearly too wide entering the chicane. This is the stuff I love. Tight races at Dragon Trail. Heading into that chicane with a bunch of other drivers is so fun and so scary, but worth it when you all make it through. What is this? South to Tao making a move on the inside on Jasmine. Can they make it stick? Jasmine way outside there. South to Tao losing the rear end a little bit. It's easy to do right there. And it looks like they do end up with the position. Jasmine kind of dipping a wheel into that grass there. Ignitus also goes through. So Jasmine really losing out there. Ignitus going up against South to Tao. In fact, is going to outbreak them into the chicane and gets up. Ignitus in the 6th place. South to Tao down to 7th. Little Mac behind Jasmine loses yet another position down into 9th. Seems like every time we come over there, the rear end of that Lexus is doing something that is not supposed to do. Good fight there. Shadow down in the 13th place here. Don't see what happened to them, but here we are. Selecta Zinio's lead lost almost from 2.3 seconds, now 1.5. Racer's coming up quick in that Beetle. Nobody trying to get on Racer. Racer has nothing to do but go for fast laps in that Beetle, and it looks like they're going to catch up to Zinio in any moment now. Avalarian, meanwhile, a full 4 seconds back. That gap has gotten huge. They've got a lot to make up here. The mid-pack up to those 2 drivers up front. They've got a lot of work to do to get back up there. Paco, meanwhile, up on Akae Suisse, who's gotten up to 4th place in all the drama. But Paco's right there, trying to put that Jaguar somewhere up ahead of the R8. Ignite is still holding on to 6. South to Tao wants it back. Still right there with them. The GTR looks fast. Ooh, a little touch between Paco and Ignitus. Paco slow. Ignitus ends up out off track because of it. Oh, come on. Give me a longer replay than that. Well, Ignitus down in the 12th place. I think that touch just threw them off. The touch came right in the braking zone, and you know how that goes. Raccoon, meanwhile, up in the 10th place after falling down to last. Raccoon and JP up here because Ignitus and Shadow, of course, ended up down at the bottom. Up top, Zinio's lead down to 1.3 seconds. Racer's on the way. Avalarian, the gap to Racer, actually bigger. It's a 5-second gap now. Come on, Avalarian, let's get it together. Let's get it back. Here comes Akae Suisse. They want you. They want you. They shook Paco off. Paco's now 2.3 seconds behind and fighting South to Tao. If anything, Ignitus is out and South to Tao still wants blood. Now all over Paco. All over them going into the S's there. See South to Tao looking left, looking right. Just kind of stay out of Paco's slipstream, but also really putting themselves in Paco's mirrors, making them nervous. They're going to go inside here. Paco does not defend the hairpin. South to Tao is through. Nice pass, very neat pass. Good heads-up racing there. Paco has no choice but to get in, slot in between them and Little Mac. Oh, this mid-pack has been a lot of fun already. Let's see, chicane of death. Ooh, Jasmine, a little squirrely coming out of it. That slows them down, but not as much as it slowed Little Mac down. Jasmine right alongside, inside into the last corner. They should be able to make this neatly together. Little Mac squeezing them. A nice move by Little Mac actually there to stay defensive even on the outside, able to squeeze Jasmine into that very tight inside line, which is not what you want in that corner. You want to go start wide and apex it late. So a good job to limit Jasmine's exit speed and keep that position by Little Mac there. Meanwhile, this pack is still nice and tight. Raccoon still trying to make something happen, but they are up into that 10th place train, like I said, right up against them. Let's see, has MOP caught Xeno yet? Racer, where you at? What happened? It's a 2.2 second gap now. It was like 1 point something. What happened? What happened, friend? Oh well, we'll come back to it. They'll get back up to there. I want to see that battle for first place go down, but we are only 6 laps in out of a 34 lap race. So, you know, we're good. Oh, somebody said, good luck, Andy. Who's Andy? Which one is Andy, Al? I'm gonna just call you Al. I don't think that literally means Al, AL71B, but that's your name today. It's Al. Good to meet you, Alan. Ooh, Jasmine still having a hard time keeping the rear end of that Lexus straight and narrow. Maybe just getting on the throttle a little bit too soon in some places. Ooh, JP slaps the wall. A little door slap there coming out of the chicane, and that's going to give Raccoon a chance here. Raccoon has a chance. Raccoon outbrakes and is now up against Jasmine as well. Raccoon gets 2 positions going into the last corner. Easy peasy. It's not a problem. It's not a thing for them. Let's see that. Can we see that from Raccoon's perspective? We can't because of the glitch. Okay, I'll fix that in a moment. But let's just watch this pass again on both racers. Good job by Raccoon to get there. Get that position. Let's see if they kept it going into turn 1. They sure did. They sure did. I'm going to exit really quickly and hop back in. I always forget about the spectator glitch where you can't change views. There we go. Now I can see all the views. Meanwhile, while we're here, Racer has got themselves back up to within 2 seconds of Xeno. They can see Xeno. Ooh, a lot of curb for the little beetle there. Let's not do that anymore. Kind of shaky. I don't like it. Made me nervous, Racer. Starting to see gaps form even in the mid-pack here. Akai Suisse racing all alone. 4 seconds ahead, 4.5 seconds ahead, 3.5 seconds behind. Just hot lapping now. Avalarian, meanwhile, starting to form a gap to Saltitao. Though Saltitao's been on a tear. We've seen Saltitao pick up positions left and right. So we're going to keep an eye on that gap between 4th and 5th. Paco right behind, but it looks like the race is starting to settle down for these folks in the early mid-pack. Meanwhile, Raccoon up to 8th place with that pass. A beautiful pass on 2 racers there. Now has a good little gap to JP behind. JP and Raccoon, if I were them, I would work together just to make our way back up into this order here. Been a lot of fighting in the opening laps of this race here. A lot of people have lost out because of it. Looks like we got Jasmine going to make a move on Rebello. Jasmine haven't gotten a better exit out of the last turn. They are side by side entering the chicane. Nope. Rebello tucks in behind. That Lexus just has probably longer legs than the McLaren. I think the BOP does typically squeeze a lot of the top speed out of the McLaren there. It's not great in straight lines. Meanwhile, Ignitus and Shadow still just bringing up the rear, just trying to catch back up. They're 5 seconds to the next racer. Xeno, how you doing? The gap's getting smaller, but not very quickly. So Xeno may be okay. We'll see how tire wear starts to affect both of these drivers here. You would think that the tire wear would be better on the Beetle, but to be honest, it's looking pretty even between the two of them. Oops, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that because somebody could be watching, but Xeno, Razor's tires are better than yours. Okay, next. Boring. Okay, sweet say. Not racing anyone, not chasing anyone, which actually is probably where you want to be in an endurance race. Just taking it easy, doing your thing, fast laps, safe tires. Saltitao has fallen off of Avalarian a little bit. Well, not really. It was a 1.3 second gap when we last checked, I think. So that gap, not really doing much. Not much change. Raccoon, however, is within a second of Little Mac. They're in the slipstream, and I'm very interested in seeing if they're able to make a pass here and make something happen. Definitely better brakes than the Corvette into the chicane. Automatically gained 2/10 on the Corvette, and now lost a 10th as the Corvette pulled out. This is going to be a fun give and take here. The Corvette being a very fast straight line car with actually a surprisingly decent chassis. But the Mazda, if I recall, is a handling machine. And there's room for both at this track. There's room for both cars to do well. Though the big V8s, the big long-legged cars do tend to do pretty well over here because it's also a very fast track. Wow, Rebello pulling right up to Jasmine's bumper in the S's. In fact, still carrying more speed and is able to take the inside and get around them for the hairpin. Jasmine with an over-under move to get back into that. That was really nice defending. Let's take a look at that. Let's see what the setup was like. Here's Rebello. Gets the inside. Jasmine breaks early. Rebello not able to keep the apex. Jasmine tucks right in there, takes the position right back. Really heads up defending. Really good job there by Jasmine. We're going to keep an eye on this battle, of course, and all the others, as one does when one is commentating upon a race. Zinho. Racer's a little bit closer. 2/10 closer for Racer. Akai Suisse pulling out an even bigger gap against Avalarian. It's 7.3 seconds between third and fourth now. At this point, first through third are kind of in their own race. It's going to be interesting to see if the mid-pack can catch up, but Avalarian's having a tough time battling South to Tao. In fact, ends up drifting turn 5. Is that turn 4 or 5 there? Whatever it is, nice little drift through there, kind of. South to Tao, though, not waiting, it looks like. South to Tao not content to just stay behind. They may continue to make moves here. Let's go check on everyone else real quick. Little Mac and Raccoon, definitely interested in seeing. That hasn't gone down yet, but Jasmine and Arbello, here we are, right back in that same hairpin. This time, Arbello doesn't try to make a move, but is stuck to Jasmine, rather, like glue. Coming into the chicane. I'm stuck watching these two drivers now. I said I was going to check on everyone, but here we are. Rebello follows through neatly in the chicane, loses out to Jasmine a little bit. That is natural. In that chicane, you have to slow down to get through behind another car. You just have no choice. Because of the dirty air, you don't want to hit those walls. Latizino into the pits. Was on softs, now takes the mediums. There is a tire rule in this race. I will put it up on the screen for you now, actually, so you can all have a look at that. So most races, including this one, will require drivers to use 2 compounds during the race. The hardest compound, that being the mediums here, must be used for at least 33% of the race distance. This is a 34-lap race. I'll do the math in a second. If somebody else wants to do the math, go for it. But they may fulfill the requirement over multiple non-consecutive stints, which is interesting. I don't think people are going to do something like that. But it's interesting that you have the option, for sure. Let's get back into the race here. So Racer adopts first place there. Suisse, only 2 seconds back now from Racer. Not sure if something happened, but that used to be a 3-second gap, a 3.5-second gap, in fact. So maybe we'll start to see some consolidation in the top 3 here. The gap to Avalarian, though, that battle between Avalarian and South to Tao is really hurting them. The gap was like 5 seconds. It's now 10, going into 11. South to Tao starting to make a move into the last turn as Avalarian has some trouble coming out of the chicane of death, and this should do it. South to Tao should be able to make that move stick. Suisse in the pits, they're all going to pass. Who just dipped in? Somebody just ducked in as well. South to Tao just ducked into the pits after making that pass, leaving Avalarian with a Paco problem. side by side into the first chicane here. Now this could go either way. You can have success passing on the outside and the inside in this chicane, but Paco makes it happen before we even get in. Valerian, meanwhile, gonna squeeze them a little bit, but tucks in for that fast kink there. Nice little battle between these two. Zinho back out of the pits, up into 4th place, has fresh tires, so I don't see them having an issue getting back up into the battle for first soon, especially when Racer pits. Hey, Optimal. Yes, E-Dirty Tati. It's me. This is my first time commentating Division 2. Little Mac and Jasmine. What happened to Rebello? Did Rebello pit? Rebello pitted, took tires, so that Rebello Jasmine battle not going on right now. But we'll see what happens if Jasmine pits, comes back out around them. We'll see how that works out. Zinho sneaking up on Paco, just getting closer and closer. Like a shark. Ba-da. Ba-da. More people dipping into the pits now. Valerian in. I just saw RWB, I think, Little Mac. No, that was JP. It was one of the Corvettes. JP in. Jasmine in. Ignitus in. Don't think we have any good battles on track, so let's see a pit stop. Ignitus coming in the team. All 4 out. Get those tires. Very quick tire change, just a few seconds, 2 to 3 seconds there. A splash of fuel for the Supra up to halfway and back out. Pit stops in this game. Very lucky. You get to have everyone out with their gun. The fueler can be out at the same time, so you can change all 4 tires at the same time and fuel. It's a very fast pit stop. Not the case in a lot of real life racing, right? If you watch something like, if you watch IMSA, you're only allowed to have so many people over the wall at a time, so you have to change your tires one at a time. If you have a fueler out and somebody wiping down the windshield and another person helping the driver out with their water bottle and getting in and out of the car, it's awesome. Keep racing, Shadow. You never know. You never, ever know. It just keeps racing. Find some consistency if you're not being consistent. I don't think I've seen you crash or anything like that, except maybe whatever happened to you earlier. Just find some consistency. Let's see, what are your lap times looking like? We're gonna analyze Shadow's race right now while they race, because this is gonna make them nervous. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of 39s. I'm seeing a lot of 39s. Stay right there. You know, don't try to go fast. People will crash, okay? The chicane of death will be your friend. Believe me. Zinho up into 2nd place. Made that pass against Paco. Should have been easy money. Paco's sitting on old tires. I think Paco Raccoon up in the 4th, but Little Mac, we have quite a few people who still owe us pit stops, but maybe those are only 3. Racer. So 4 people still owe us a pit stop. I don't see them going much further on the tires that they have right now, especially with the tire requirement. In fact, I said I would do the math on that. I'm going to do that right now for you all. I will leave you on screen with somebody who's in a battle if we have one. We don't have any battles. Oh, there we go. There we go. Ignitus and Rebello. Rebello wants to get back with Jasmine. Ignitus is in the way. Get him, Rebello. Get him. I'm doing some math. All right, 11 laps. You got to do 11 laps. It's actually 11.22. It's 33% of this race. So, I don't know if I saw specifics about whether or not you had to do 11 laps or 12 laps on the mediums, but there is a requirement that you do 33% of the race on them. So, I would assume 12 just to be safe. Yes, mediums are at least 12 laps. Just checked in the Discord channel. So tires and fuel, tire wear is 3x, fuel use is 2x, tire requirements, racing soft and racing mediums, you must use the mediums for at least 12 laps. Zenio got an early start on that. They pitted pretty early in the race. Unfortunately, without a partner here, it's hard for me to keep tabs of who pitted when and took what tires. So we just kind of watch and see. Let's see who's on mediums right now. Racer started the race on softs. Zenio took the mediums, as we saw. Paco started the race on the mediums. So Paco has more than done the 12 lap requirement, and I'm really not sure why they're still out on old mediums on lap 15. Interesting choice there. Raccoon also out on old mediums on lap 15. But of course, you know, fuel use is a thing. You know, you don't want to pit too early for no reason, but I can't help but feel that maximizing time on the soft should have been a priority. Suisse pitted, took the mediums. Saltitao pitted, took the mediums. Avalarian pitted, took the softs. Not sure if they started on mediums, but they're on softs now. Little Mac still on old mediums. They look old, but have surprisingly little tire wear. JP and the other Corvette right behind, they have better tires and are on soft, so they should be able to make short work of Little Mac here, unless Little Mac is defending. Let's see. Is Little Mac going to defend to the last turn? No, they don't really bother to. They do end up having to brake a little early, but that makes sense. They have worn mediums, and they are still not jumping into the pit, still staying right there in front of JP. I'm going to stay with this real quick. Let me see if Little Mac is able to hinder JP's progress here. Nah, JP got the better exit out of the corner, got the speed, never mind. That's the end of that. So JP on those new softs. Little Mac should probably pit soon. Jasmine pitted, took the softs. Ignitus pitted and took softs. Rebello pitted and took softs. And Shadow pitted and took softs. So we got a good mix of compounds still on the track right now. A few people currently racing on old mediums that we expect to switch into softs soon. And then we have others who are in their second stint on the mediums. So that's awesome. Zenio goes purple in that second sector there. That's the fastest sector time currently on the mediums, in fact, with that. It is good to see a more variety of countries optimal. It's awesome. I think the time change did ended up excluding a lot of people in more Eastern time zones because it's pretty late for them. But I think we've picked up enough new flags that it kind of makes up for that, though I'm not sure. I haven't checked the mix, but there is a priority in the rules to prioritize rare countries. So if there are fewer than 5 racers representing your country in the entire championship, you are prioritized for membership. If there's any thing about registration, like qualifying, that leaves a slot open for someone to be considered simply for that reason, I suppose. Raccoon, 17 laps, still on mediums. Paco as well. Paco out in the slippery stuff in that turn. Hurries up to get back in front of Raccoon there. Get that car literally in the way. But we kind of got a battle going for the old medium brigade here, I guess. Raccoon gets right up on that Jaguar in the S's. The Jaguar, of course, dealing with dirty tires after going off track. Raccoon's going to tuck in inside. Are they going to outbrake them, or are they going to make that? Raccoon keeps it tight inside, and it looks like they're able to make the turn. Paco has to stay outside to leave room, and Raccoon is able to make the pass going into the chicane of death. But will they pit is what matters. And when they pit, who's going to need to take more fuel? Who's going to spend more time in pit lane? This pass might have been for nothing if they both pit right now. Racer is in. Our first place driver is into the pits. Finally, Paco dives inside for the last turn. Raccoon able to keep a lot of speed around the outside there, and it doesn't look like either one is jumping into pit lane yet. So Here we are. Meanwhile, Akae Suisei showing up on newer mediums, trying to figure out how to get past. These two are definitely in the way. Ooh, Suisei, what are you gonna do? What's the plan? Around the outside for the chicane, gets around Raccoon. Raccoon tries an over-under, doesn't make it stick. Paco slides out on the throttle, and that gives Suisei the chance to get just ahead for the next couple of turns, and I think Suisei is going to be able to keep that position there. They've got the newer tires. Nice job to stay neat and just try to make your way past these two. I don't know when they're going to get the hint. Maybe they're trying to make it a two-stop race. A one-stop race. We're about at the halfway mark here. So that may be the case for these two racers. It'll be interesting to see where they end up at the end of it. Paco and Raccoon. If you recall, Raccoon fell down from like 6th place all the way down to last after crashing at the very beginning of the race. Sao Tao down in 7th. Got out behind Racer. Racer came out ahead of them coming out of the pits there. Sao Tao was looking pretty racy for the first stint. Haven't seen much from them lately, but I don't think we've seen a whole lot of back and forth between racers since the second stint started, since the pit window, except between Raccoon and Paco, who are still going at it. Raccoon now has the inside for the last turn instead of Paco and is able to make that stick. But Raccoon, are you going to pit? It's a no. It's a no for both of them. I love it. That's fine. That's fine. Both of them still going at it side by side as they enter the kink towards the starting chicane. Raccoon has the inside. Paco will have the inside for the right-hand side, though, but tucks in behind. Slows down a little bit. Lets Raccoon get that. I wouldn't surprise me to find out that the Mazda is able to break deeper into that than the Jaguar anyway, especially with worn tires and no ability to tune out that Jaguar's pretty natural understeering tendencies. Why don't we stay with these two for a little bit? I'm gonna mute and take a sip of water. Be right back. That's Paco into the pits. Finally, the second to last person to pit. So that's the end of that battle for now. Let's take a look. Sao Tao not catching up to Racer after Racer popped out of the pits in front of them. Sounds about right. Racer's looking pretty pacey. Pretty racy, in fact. Look at Jasmine, though. Jasmine and Ignitus. I feel like we've done this before with these two. We've done this before. Now, it's no Jasmine versus Rebello, but let's see if this fight gives us anything good. Where is Rebello? In fact, Rebello's down in 12th, racing alone. Not sure what happened. Last we checked, Rebello was looking up. Actually, I don't remember who they were coming against. I think it was Little Mac. I think they were right staring at Little Mac's exhaust, but here they are back all alone. Little Mac also alone now. 6.5 seconds to the car ahead, 4 seconds to the car behind. Meanwhile, Ignitus and Jasmine, bit of a gap there. Let's see if they catch back up. Ignitus is still, Jasmine is still within the slipstream for the most part. Zinho, though, has run away, is 8 seconds up the road from Akae Suisei. There's no telling when they'll run into anyone, really. But I believe they'll have another, yes, they'll have another pit stop coming up here. So that gap's going to go away. But most people will have another pit stop coming up. In fact, it looks like Paco and Raccoon are the only ones who are on that one-stop strategy. Little Mac is in for their second stop already. That was their stint on mediums. Now switching to, it says medium still, but I think it takes a while for it to update. Let's see when they pop out. It says they're still on mediums. Nope, switch to the softs. Take a bit of fuel to get to the end. So that's the first of the second pit stops. Raccoon, still on old tires. Now defending against Avalarian, but Avalarian easily getting around, but doesn't have the inside for this hairpin, but should and does outbrake Raccoon even on the outside. Gets around easily, no stress, not a problem. Raccoon at this point is basically just a moving chicane with those tires on. They're going to want to jump in probably this lap. I can't imagine that they stay out even longer. We're 21 laps into a 34-lap race, and they've been on the slowest tire for way more than 33% of this race, over 50% of this race, in fact. So they've got to be looking to pit soon, and yeah, they're dipping in now. Gonna take the softs. Just not sure about this strategy, to be honest with you. We'll see how it turns out. I am no great endurance race strategic mind, not by any means. So we'll see how it works out for them. Meanwhile, Saltatau back up on Racer. Racer not able to fully shake them. Last we checked, that gap had gone up over a second, but now Saltatau is in that Beetle slipstream. So I want to see what happens. Will something happen? Let's take a look. We'll come back to them in a few seconds because we've still got Ignitus and Jasmine, but they're in the same place. Ignitus, I'm not going to say it out loud, but you see it. You see what I'm saying. You see what I'm seeing here. I shouldn't mention these things out loud, but you see it. All right, no one else fighting. Back to Racer and Saltatau. Let's see if Saltatau is able to catch up and give us some entertainment here. Got more people starting to pit. We just saw Xenio in, just saw JP in. Yes, Shadow was in 9th place. Just showed you that. Oh, got hit off the chicane 2 times. That chicane of death will do it to you. Meanwhile, MLP is still holding Saltatau off and probably will for obvious reasons, which we can all see on the stream, if you know where to look. Meanwhile, Avalarian's up in 2nd place. Owes a pit stop, but is up in 2nd place, and the pit stops aren't that long. Don't have to get that much fuel, just 10 more laps to go in the race. Okay, Seaside dips in. Nice pit stop for Akae Sweet. They come out in 3rd place, which is basically where they've been since the jump. So far, it's just been a good, solid, mostly drama-free race for them. And that's paid off. Racer is back up in front with plenty of tread, plenty of fuel, 8 seconds up against Zinho, and with no need to pit coming up. We only have, like I said, 10 laps left in the race here. So a nice, very, very comfortable lead for Racer with tires that are only a couple laps older than Zinho's. They're in a really good spot here. Okay, Suisse also in a good spot to finish up this race. Paco ready for the finish. Raccoon also ready for the finish on softs. And up in 5th place, which is really, really good, but 22.5 seconds to catch up to 1st place, and less, of course, to catch up, 16 seconds to catch up to 3rd, but still, that's not the right number I'm looking for. But the gap, what I'm trying to say is that the gaps are very large, too large to overcome right now, just being on softs with everyone else. So that decision to stay on the mediums for well over half the race didn't really pay off for them as far as pace goes. Look at Ignitus and Little Mac though. Sorry, JP and JP. Little Mac's back here. Going at it. Ignitus looking for that 9th place spot. And the points. Points are very, very important. Obviously, this is a championship. There are driver points. It's a driver championship, and there are team points. The driver points are very interesting because there's a chance to move up in your division or possibly even move down in the middle of the season. And by middle of the season, I mean after rounds 1 and 2. So rounds 1 and 2 are locked, but your point standings at the end of those will determine a potential reshuffle of your position in the championship. You may be bumped up to Division 1, or if you've been shitting the bed in Division 1, pardon my language, you will get dropped down to Division 2. I believe the rule is if you have 0 points in Division 1, you're dropped. Yes, I believe that's the case. So, here, I have this. This is a look at our current divisional assignments. Division 2 being the center column there. That's what we're watching now. You see Raccoon qualified at the top of the division. So, probably not very happy with their outing in this race. Oh man, that was shady. Oh, you know what? I haven't brought it over yet. Now you can see what I'm talking about. Sorry, y'all. Afternoon, Issa. But those are our divisions. As I said, these are subject to change after round 2 of this season. The top 3 finishers from the top 3 championship finishers from last season are automatically placed in Division 1. We'll see Robert and Dino there. Our other finisher is not here, but those 2 automatically Division 1. And I know how fast those 2 are. I doubt that they are going to get 0 points over the next 2 races and end up down in Division 2. But if they did, well, I can't promise good racing if they did. So they can stay where they're at. But let me see. Who do we want? Who would I want from Division 1 to get just smack down to Division 2 so we can see them race? I like watching Sokane. Sokane. That's who I'm going with. That's who I want. We want Sokane. And that's that. No, that's terrible. I do not wish a bad outing in the first 2 races for Sokane. I take it back. I take it back. Somebody mute me. Alright, who's fighting? Who's battling? Raccoon and Paco have been together through so much of this race. I really want to see them fight. Raccoon's only half a second back. It looks like it's gonna happen. It looks like Raccoon wants 4th place and might get it, but Paco fights hard. When they were both racing on dying tires, oh, they raced like it was like they were on fresh softs. It was beautiful. Beautiful to see. But here it is. Ooh, Raccoon is looking left, looking right. Outside. Brakes a little bit too late. Ooh, but Paco outbraked themselves. Raccoon gets back up under and is able to make the pass easily from Paco, making a huge mistake there. Let's take a look. Paco, what happened, friend? Paco's here. Nope, let's stay here. Paco misses the apex, goes completely wide, has to keep it slowed and not spin it on the outside in that dirty spot, and here's Raccoon. Probably can't believe that they just got that easy gift. Paco looked like they were going to make a fight of it. They definitely went defensive. They just braked too early. You can get me out of the replay now, game. We're frozen. Okay, well, let's just get out of this and we'll pop back in. Is PD doing PD things? Why is Paco back up front? We missed it going over the replay. Okay, well, we get to see Raccoon try to make a pass all over again, and that's the part that matters. Truly, it is. We're gonna stick right here with this battle. Let's see if they're able to make something happen here. Paco really eating through those fronts with that Jaguar. The Jaguar's such a great car, but it does understeer. It does understeer, and you have to drive it with that in mind. You have to brake a little bit early. Be a little bit careful about your corners. It's not as bad as you would think, but when you're battling with someone, you're not able to be as careful with your tires as you would like to be, and it's showing. You know, that slide way past the apex the last time around right here in this corner probably didn't help. But Paco gets through it a lot neater this time. Raccoon is probably feeling a bit frustrated at this point because that Jaguar got a big butt. He's trying his best to get around it and can't. My bad, Raccoon. I don't know if Raccoon is a he. I don't mean to misgender you, but try to get around that Jaguar, but worry about that. Meanwhile, in this battle, it's given Avalarian a chance to catch up and be part of it. So, 3-way battle for 4th place here. Avalarian probably raring to get back into the top 5. I believe they qualified 6th, but at the start of the race, when everything got reshuffled just after the first chicane, they were up at the very top of the order and now are getting a chance to get back into that. None of these racers have a chance to get up to 3rd, perhaps, unless... Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it. Can't say it. You don't want to jinx anything. Wow. Okay, so we say purple 1st sector for the R8. Who has the surprisingly, Ignitus has the fastest lap. Paco just took that purple 1st sector away, by the way. But Ignitus with the fastest lap, a 37.1. I wasn't expecting that. Ignitus has been fighting and now is nowhere to be seen. We lost Ignitus, y'all. Oh no. A disconnect. Paco defensive again, and has kind of learned their lesson about that apex, but didn't do a good job there, and it let Raccoon just get the nose in, but Ignitus able to put the foot on the pedal and get that Jaguar back up ahead. That big old V8 doing its thing. But it's gonna want to keep it tighter, maybe a little bit tighter into that apex, lest Raccoon finds some way to keep more speed through there. It is hard. It is hard making a pass around the inside there because it's very slippery on the inside of that apex. Going the hairpin right before the chicane of death. If you are on the inside, you have to wait so long to get on the throttle because it's very slippery. There's no grip. And unless you've got traction control on, you're gonna slide the rear end out there. There's just no traction there. So Paco able to take advantage of that, and it looks like Raccoon did have to slow down and not get out as fast. But now Raccoon can't even really chase Paco because here's Avalarian right there just waiting. Avalarian putting pressure on, going into the S's. Not going to be able to make a move stick on the outside like that. But again, sometimes it's about putting pressure on your opponent and making them make mistakes because they're so worried about what you're doing back there. Raccoon, however, has kept composure. In fact, I don't think, outside of the big crash, I don't think we've seen Raccoon make a racing mistake. I don't think that we've seen them really place a foot that wrong in a battle, which is nice to see. Avalarian able to carry more speed through that chicane of death there. Raccoon having to slow down, being in Paco's dirty air, gave Avalarian a chance to pull up for this last turn. Breaks a little bit earlier. I think there's a slight touch there, maybe. Avalarian is through, got the position on Raccoon, and now it's gonna see if they can either move on to Paco. What happened to Raccoon? Oh, there they are. Did they just disappear from the screen? Am I tripping? We couldn't see them, right? Okay, whatever. Yeah, no, Avalarian not able to just move on to Paco. Raccoon still right there, all over them. Saltatau, meanwhile, it's crazy. Saltatau's just kind of been quiet since the end of the first stint. The very first stint, they were very aggressive, going for positions, picking people off one by one. Pit stops came through in that second stint. We saw them. There was a moment where it looked like they might be doing their thing against Racer there, but they were running low on fuel and had to pit. So that battle ended, and now just racing alone in 7th place with not really much of a prospect, it looks like, to even fight for a position unless something happens in this battle. There's always a chance, people. Always a chance. Battles are slow. So if this battle continues over the next lap or so, Saltatau's 2-second gap to Raccoon could close up into something serious. Jasmine racing all alone. We've seen Jasmine in battles with several racers over the course of this particular competition, but right now, very quiet, just lapping for them. Little Mac, not that quiet. Got Shadow right behind. Shadow still in this race, never gave up, like we talked about. Shadow knows there's always a chance. Shadow still right there. P Rebello, unfortunately, just hasn't really been working out for them. They were having a really good battle earlier with, I believe it was Jasmine, if I recall correctly. Again, we haven't really heard from them since. Zinho is in 1st place. Racer is in 3rd. What happened? Did it happen a long time ago and I just noticed it? This is why you need a partner watching this stream with you. You get stuck in a battle and a complete lead change happens and you have no idea how. But Racer goes from 1st down to 3rd place, and now Zinho is the one with the huge gap. I believe it was 4 seconds. Yep, 4.3 to Ake Suisse. Who just dropped the purple sector. People still finding ways to go faster in different parts of this track. Avalarian is through between Paco and Zinho. Sorry, between Paco and Raccoon. Can we see it happen? And only part of it made the pass into the hairpin, which I thought might happen. I thought if he just laid back and waited, Paco and Raccoon would mess themselves up enough to let them get through, and it looks like it's happened here. Good job for Avalarian, and the gap is huge between Avalarian and these two who continue to fight for 4th place. Meanwhile, Saltatau is there, as I predicted. That 2-second gap already down to 0.3 tenths. Raccoon making a move on Paco. Raccoon in the wall. Raccoon in the wall, and that's the end of that battle. Into the chicane, dives in. Oh, it looks like they just outbrake themselves. They just outbrake themselves and could not get the car turned around, and that's the end of that battle. Meanwhile, we still have Saltatau over there with Paco. And that's the new battle now. Paco can't get a break. You just lose one opponent only to pick up another one who's all over you. Saltatao with fresher tires. Both of these running out of fuel, but probably calculated to within the end of the race perfectly. Saltatao tries to move around the outside. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. Doesn't make it happen. Paco is going to enter the chicane of death up ahead. Saltatao is going to have to be a little careful here, not to get caught out by that dirty air. Don't hit the wall. Paco doesn't hit the wall. Paco immediately goes defensive. I think they might have maybe touched the wall a little bit, just trying to ward, go defensive, knowing they'll have lost some speed there. Saltatao tries to squeeze them. Paco on the gas. Not leaving a lot of room, but leaving enough room to be safe. But Saltatao able to carry more speed around there. Paco was too far inside. Good job. Another pass, making that squeeze there. We saw somebody else pass there exactly the same way. Paco still fighting back though, fighting to come back around the straight, and does, but outbreaks themselves going to the chicane just like Raccoon did, and that's the end of that battle. Paco out of this thing. Wow. If they would have just kept it together and been neat, that touch. And then just doesn't have enough to outbreak Saltatao, and ends up taking a trip into the kitty litter. Luckily, didn't spin it, didn't get too stuck, didn't even lose another position, but Raccoon is right back there again. Pardon me. It's less than a second, but there's also less than a lap left. Raccoon probably feeling a bit vengeful here, probably has been trying to find their way around Paco for so much of this race, and every time they made it happen, Paco got it right back. And here we are at the end of the race with them. Ooh, it looks like up front, still boring, back to the fun. Back to the fun battle. Paco and Raccoon, they're through the chicane. Raccoon still not close enough. It's 7/10. Unless Paco, I'm not going to say it out loud, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen for Raccoon. It looks like Paco is able to just hold on to 6th place. Both of these drivers losing out though, spending way too much time fighting each other. Both Avalarian and Saltatao able to take 4th and 5th place away from these two drivers, and now they have to settle for 6th and 7th. Raccoon coming in 7th, Jasmine in 8th, JP and Little Mac. Yeah, JP's gonna come across first in 9th, 10th, Shadow in 11th, Rebello will round it out in 12th, and up top, Zenio with the win. I don't know what happened to Racer, but Zenio ended up with the win. Ake Suisse adopts 2nd place with whatever happened to Racer, and Racer has to settle for 3rd. So that's our finishing order in a weird order that I announced it in, but here we are. That's the end of our first race. Lots of excitement in this one. A lot of really good battles. I like this. Ooh, okay. More Division 2. More Division 2. When's the next race? I can't wait. I can't wait to watch y'all some more. Let me take a look. Round 2 is next Sunday at Autopolis. Okay. Not the biggest fan of Autopolis, but when you're able to battle there, the battles are good. They are. Good race, everyone. Thank y'all for watching. That was a good time. Did y'all? I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope y'all enjoyed that. There's been a lot of work put into changing the rule book around and changing the registration process and the amount of racers that are allowed in this season. So, and a lot of changes to the broadcasting as well. And I hope that you guys are going to enjoy what we've got going for you this season. And of course, next season will be even bigger and better. This is actually a test bed for these changes, so expect even better to come. Avalarian, you weren't expecting P4 at all. That came to you. I mean, it was given to you. Paco and Raccoon just could not stop fighting. Like, even when they saw that folks were catching up, you know, they didn't stop fighting each other. And wouldn't just work together to try to make that gap work and maybe fight towards the end. But looks like you won out. Oh, and you retracted your message, so maybe I shouldn't have kept talking about it. But still, wow. Nice race for everyone. See y'all in the chat. Thank you for coming, and we'll see y'all next week.